All right, welcome to the Gaming Lounge. We have Culture Casino here today, Mackie 90, Atlantean, and our special guest, Caffeinated Wolfe. I'll have everybody go around and say hello and all that stuff here. Go ahead, Culture.
I want to say hello to everybody. Thanks for being here. As we start to build our audience, we're glad that you all are showing up. We have a special announcement to make today. Very excited about that. And for those of you watching on the replay, if you want to skip all the jibber jab and go to the end and find out what we're talking about, you can do that too. Otherwise, thanks for being here, guys. And on we go.
We're going to talk about Cyberpunk and that whole debacle today. That'll probably take up most of the show. So, but how are you doing today, Caffeinated Wolfe, Andrew?
I'm doing fantastic. I got a new article up on geeksandgamers.com earlier today. It's actually a review of the chair you see my butt sitting in right now. Nice. Secret Labs Omega series. So in that regard, if you guys don't know who I am, I write for Geeks and Gamers. I'm one of the editors and one of the lead admins for their website as well. You can also find me over on Twitch, Caffeinated Wolfe. That's where I do most of my stuff.
His links are in the description as well. So who wants to start diving into it? I know, Mackie, you were kind of backstage going over a lot of it. So
we can go over kind of. So I got 3 articles up. The first one, we can go over the Cyberpunk 2077 PC console file setup and then we also have an article about the whole refunds in like Sony and Microsoft not being not playing ball with it. So and then we also have their CD Projekt's site GOG pulling out a blacklisted Chinese game, Devotion, after hours after developer announcement.
Sorry, that makes me laugh.
Everyone bowing to Comrade China is what we're doing, I guess.
Oh yeah, I guess so. I hadn't heard.
I get from a business perspective, you can kind of understand. I'm a businessman, managed business. Disney did the same thing. They know there is such an immense percentage of the market share when it comes to movies that comes out of the China box office. This is a fact. This is an irrefutable fact. And so if you do something that's going to piss them off, not just the Chinese government, but the people that actually go to the theater and make them interested. If you're going to disinterest them, or if you're going to insult them or do something that makes them unhappy, you are, by way of doing that, potentially hurting your revenue. You're hurting your investment there. And it's the same thing with video games to a lesser extent. But there's this level of honesty that you still have to have, right, with your consumers. And that's something that we don't see, because if you're going to do something and your goal is to not piss off Chinese people, okay, but the product still has to be the same across the board. Like the whole thing with the Star Wars posters. Oh, all of a sudden Finn is like this big, right? Just because the Chinese or the Chinese government at the very least don't like black people. So Disney's like, diversity, except in China, right?
I think we need to start with the Devotion article.
He brings Caffeinated Wolfe actually brings up a really good point that we probably should differentiate between, because he's right about the business perspective, but you have to think about it like this: who is Devotion pissing off? Is it actually pissing off the consumer base, or is it pissing off a vain dictator who doesn't like being made fun of and has the iron grip to say you can't bring that in here?
Yeah.
Now and I'm gonna err on the side of it pissed off the dictator a little bit too much, and he's clenching his iron fist.
All right.
So
let's go. Let's get into this. This article is coming from Niche Gamer. I just want to double check, make sure. Okay, I think we're good. Okay, we don't have to. Let me show this. Okay. GOG to pull out selling Chinese blacklisted game Devotion hours after developer announcement. GOG have announced that they will not be selling the Chinese blacklisted horror game Devotion hours after developers stated they would. For those unfamiliar, in February 2019, Taiwanese developer Red Candle Games were accused of placing hidden messages in their horror game Devotion, mocking the Chinese president Xi Jinping as the game centered on a cult. Others felt a Devotion was a critique or mockery of the Chinese government and its supporters in mainland China. The game's publisher, Indevent, had their business license revoked by the Chinese government. In 2019 of July, the developer confirmed that the game would not be returning to sale. The game was later added to the Harvard University library. Red Candle Games announced that the game will have a limited physical release in June purely within Taiwan. Today, Red Candle Games tweeted that the game would be on GOG for $16.99. The content re-release of the same. However, they'd also tweeted earlier today, it was announced that the game Devotion is coming to GOG. After receiving many messages from gamers, we have decided to list the game in our store. On such search engines, the game's listing can still be seen. However, it caches and archives at the same page are non-existent. The reasoning behind the language used by GOG seems very strange. Only gamers likely to complain about Devotion are those based in China, where they are under social credit policy, where good citizens are rewarded and where bad citizens have access to less services. As such, those complaining about the game's inclusion may be doing so in fear of being punished if they do not object to the fear of GOG being cut off in China. There's also a chance of it being the 50 Cent Party hired commenters and trolls working on behalf of the Chinese government. Discussion was recently exposed as being censored on YouTube. Except GOG is not officially available in China. While the website is available in simply Chinese, many users have had to use a VPN to work around China's Great Firewall. Based on this, remaining motivations to include GOG trying to assert that there are no further restrictions against them being unofficially available in China, or those who own stock in CD Projekt, GOG's owner, demanding the game not to be sold under threat of selling their shares. The situation bears strong comparison when Blitzchung was suspended by Blizzard Entertainment in support of the Hong Kong protests. Due to Chinese tech giant Tencent owning 5% of Activision Blizzard, we dug into that they could have influenced Blizzard Entertainment. The findings of our report found that Activision Blizzard made less than 13% of their total profit in Q2 2019 in the Asia Pacific region. Without franchise breakdown of profits, we were unable to data mine exactly how much profit Hearthstone generates per region. The Chinese government's influence on gaming and media has been a somewhat frequent topic. Recent stories of influence beyond the borders include Genshin Impact and Call of Duty Black Ops Cold War censoring for the Tiananmen Square protests. So, yeah.
Oh, man.
Well, I'm not surprised, though. And again, I mean, if we don't pay very close attention, we're going to slide down this same slope that China's, in right now. And I know that I don't like to bring politics into any of this stuff, but unfortunately, politics is visiting everything, including video games right now. And it's just a hot mess that we're just going to have to contend with. But beyond that, no, clearly, I mean, this game was, ditched purely because of it offended a little panda guy, and and that's just the way it is.
But you can even remove the political piece from it, right? You just it's the censorship piece that becomes the issue, and that's something that we can relate to here in the U.S. We can't relate to a dictatorship, but we can relate to the censorship piece. Sony of America. And a number of actual third-party developers have already been, at least in the West, censoring their products because of little bitch babies that, things offend them, apparently, and their hurt feelings matter.
And here's the thing, is that when they censor, it's not just like censors just only for the Chinese region. It's universal,
global.
Like basically whatever he's asked for, it has to be universal censorship all across the board. So
Yeah,
basically,
and that's the thing. I mean, eventually somebody, if we want to still exercise freedom in this country, in all of the ways that we have it, somebody's going to have to stand up at some point. But you know, that's neither here nor there. I mean, ultimately, the situation that we're seeing right now is what it is, right? We have a game that was censored strictly because it offended someone. And that's just wrong, in my opinion. But hey, what do I know?
yeah.
Definitely agree.
And speaking of which, you also know who owns GOG, and that is CD Projekt, which has been in a big listen. Despite how we all feel about Cyberpunk,
Oh God!
it doesn't change the fact that there's been a lot of stuff going on behind the scenes at CD Projekt Red, and just this has been an absolute and crazy hoopla that's been going on this week alone.
Well, it hasn't been the best publicity they've ever had. Ever.
No, it's easily the worst they've had. That's for sure, especially from a customer relations issue. Because look, Witcher 3, as some people early on called it glitcher. And rightfully so, right? The content-wise, the game is entirely wonderful. It is my favorite open world kind of fantasy medieval style RPG of all time. It makes Skyrim look like a piece of shit.
That's true.
Which it is by comparison. And I will love them forever for that. However, it had a lot of bugs early on. And even a couple of years afterwards too, because here's the thing, there are a couple of things you have to address and realize when it comes to games like this. How ambitious the game is, right? How big this game is, how deep, and not just big, and then here's a city here, here's a city here, here's a cave you can go into, right? Like Skyrim, and then there's a shit ton of empty space in between. I'm doing a lot of hate on Bethesda here, not sorry. But when you have a game that you have this massive open world, but then you're actually filling that open world with stuff, right?
Yeah.
And with, not just with stuff, but with optional stuff and conditional stuff, to where it's like, this shit changes because you did this shit over here, and it changes differently if you did this thing over here differently. That's incredibly ambitious, and you have to take that into account when it comes to understanding that the final product, a finished product, is going to have glitches, it's going to have bugs, but and this is where Cyberpunk does not get a pass. There are things you could do to mitigate. So sure, I can let certain things in the game pass. I can let things like, okay, I've only ran into a handful of bugs, right? I think a couple of days ago, I had 2 quests that bugged on me very briefly. One of which was when you storm Arasaka, or rather, when you're trying to what's it called? When you're trying to sneak into little Arasaka's hotel suite, steal the shit, and leave. When you're trying to escape the hotel, there's a point where you have to take a card key off of an officer, off of a guard that's like a higher ranking guard. That guard never appeared for me at first.
Oh.
Like he had fallen through the map.
Oh wow.
And so there, things like that, while irritating, I can forgive, because there are just a lot of variables that you have to take into account when you have such a massive, ambitious open world game with so many options and so many variables, because you literally can't, unless you want to have a 25-year development cycle or have 8,000 testers, which you probably can't afford to pay given how much marketing money you spent on this thing.
Oh yeah.
You're not going to be able to account for everything. The things that I cannot excuse, however, are the performance issues. This game is not optimized for shit. And make no mistake, I love the game. I have about 25 hours between 2 play. I'm kind of back and forth, simultaneously playing through 2 files. My one that I'm playing on stream, which is my Street Kid male, and then when I'm just wanting to play the game play the game and have fun, I'm playing my female Corpo. And between the 25 or some odd hours I've played, I've really only had a handful of issues. But the more prevalent of those are performance issues. I don't have a Mark the Cyborg PC. I didn't spend $3,600 on my rig. I'm not about that money. Or I'd love to have that money, but I'm not making it. Maybe we'll get there at some point. but it's not like my PC is a little piss pot either.
Exactly.
I can run the game, and I can run the game I should, based on what all the recommended, optimal, and ultra requisites are. I should be able to run the thing on ultra with no problem.
Well,
and certainly, if not that, run it on high with zero issues. But that's not the case in some areas, and that's where it's like, okay, guys, I'm having fairly minimal performance issues on PC, and then I'm looking over on the console side and seeing the horror stories and nightmare fuel that people are going through. Like, I'm having people pop into my Twitch chat. No shit, the other night, several people popped into my Twitch chat and were like, they'd been hanging out for a little while, and I didn't know they were there because they hadn't said anything yet. And they were like, you're the first stream of this game that I've seen that hasn't had any issues. And I'm sorry, but for a game that had an 8-year development cycle, on the performance end, at the very least, there's no excuse for that.
No. Yeah, I agree.
I have not experienced one issue.
That was me up until like 2 days ago. Last night, my game crashed like 3 times before. Three before I could actually get to the start menu and load my file.
Damn.
Oh,
that's a pretty chair. That's
my brand new chair.
Oh, you got that one?
Yep, that is a picture of my brand new chair.
If anybody in the chat, if you want a review, because that is the Omega chair from Secret Lab. If you want a review on that, you can find that over in geekstergames.com, posted by yours truly.
That's right. Yeah. And the minute you mentioned that, I was like, yeah, I got to show up my chair. I literally built that 2.5 hours ago. So
It's super easy to assemble.
Yeah, except they really scare you with don't accidentally flick this lever and die. But
I saw that and I'm like, how bad would it be if I actually I'm just putting the thing together.
You just flatline, just like
that's what I'm afraid of. So I put the chair together. It is now sitting in the office, so when I am able to turn the lights back on without destroying my headache, I will be on stream with that chair. Now, of course, I've put the cushy memory foam pillows on it, which, by the way, they really give you the best of the best when they give you this chair. I have to say, and it's very comfortable.
Neck pillow feels so good during long gaming sessions because of that cooling gel layer.
Yeah, that's awesome.
How much did it run you?
It broke the bank. It was a can I please have this for my birthday / Christmas?
I think this thing was about $450.
Yeah, that's the right ballpark. Yeah,
I want to say
right ballpark. Yeah. Hey, look, Kai's here.
Right.
Can I get a mic check?
Hey, we can hear him, and we can hear him over his mohawk. Even that's cool.
Yeah, mohawk is pretty loud. Hello, everybody. Good to see you. Sorry for being late.
Technically, you weren't late. You were on time. Just
no problem.
That's why I threw that ish in there at the end.
I want to mention something here really quick in the chat. Fat Steven Seagal says he has a Ryzen 3600 and 32 gigs of RAM. And he says he's had no issues, but he's running on high and makes population and shadows low or medium. If you have a 3600, you should be able to have all of that shit cranked up to 11 with zero issue.
Mm-hmm.
Zero issue. That's how bad the optimization and the polish is on this game. The game, I am loving it from a content and a gameplay perspective, but it is lacking polish so badly.
It's as a game itself, Cyberpunk 2077, the game is solid. Cyberpunk 2077, the product is not.
I am so engaged by the game. So engaged. I'm loving the story. Mm-hmm. Gosh, Keanu plays a great asshole. And I'm used to him being the good guy. And the story's great, the gameplay's great. Yeah. I'm bad at first-person shooters traditionally that aren't named Halo or Destiny. And I'm okay with this. I'm okay with it. I don't plan on playing it on very hard anytime soon, but I'm still okay.
Yeah.
All right, let's get
there are some
Okay.
glitches on PS4 that I ran into that are like during story missions that kind of break the mood. When Jackie pulls a gun out of his head instead of a freaking chip.
When you're in the
It's
car,
like, what the hell?
when you're in the car, right? When you leave the hotel, I had that happen on both of my
So
save
you're not
files.
going. Okay, so we were doing the streaming, or we were doing streaming last week, and M Dashley had that same issue where Jackie would pull, instead of pull the data chip out of his head, he pulls the gun out of his head, and it ruins the immersion.
Oh my god. How are you doing this? He walked through my car's hood at one point too, which I'm like, okay, that's stupid. And then I could have lived without that, but it's not game breaking for me.
Yeah.
All right.
After I got out of the car, then his body was literally under the car.
I didn't have that happen. I didn't have that.
But, yeah.
Are you, just out of curiosity, before McKinney continues, are you running on a vanilla PS4, a Slim, or a Pro?
No, a Pro.
Okay. Okay. I mean, truth be told, it shouldn't matter, but it should run even better on a Pro.
But
it's just the fact that kind of shit's happening at all.
Okay.
And then
so
I had a mission where I had to drag a body. I had to like down somebody and take him to the trunk for the guy to like take him somewhere. I had one where it stopped. It made me drop the body, and the body just disappeared. And I'm like, where the hell is the body? But it progressed me to the next part of the quest. So like I couldn't do anything. And I'm like, what the hell? So I eventually reloaded or saved and reloaded and then backtracked and found where that happened and was able to pick up the body. But like, it was just ridiculous. They're more annoyance than like game breaking.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so let's do this. Cyberpunk 2077 console refunds are under existing policies. Last gen versions were being updated until the very last minute. And this is coming from Niche Gamer. Cyberpunk 2077 had reportedly denied that they had any special agreements with refunds for Cyberpunk on consoles, and they were working with those versions until the very last minute. As previously reported, the game's numerous delays and leaked footage were not the end of woes for CD Projekt Red. One reviewer suffered a major epileptic seizure and accused the developer of basing the Braindance headset off of the medical device designed to intentionally induce seizures. Due to high praise from the initial reviewers, the Metacritic score was far less. Currently on PC, the game is at 88 with the user score 7.0. Meanwhile, the PS4 and Xbox One versions are at a 3.0 and 4.1 with Metacritic scores of 49 and 55 respectively. It should be noted that those who have not played the game may also be submitting reviews. Also, Metacritic does not verify a user that has completed or played the game. In February, an example, user Reset Era orchestrated the review bombing of Desamian files. Metacritic also placed a 36-hour grace period on user reviews for video games in July of this year. Metacritic would later insist the decision was not motivated by any particular game. The year would also play to lower user score reviews for Warcraft 3 and Forge and The Last of Us Part 2. Users complained that Cyberpunk 2077's numerous glitches and bugs, along with poor optimization and the console version having inferior graphics. Even critic reviews praised the game, but also discussed those issues. Since the hotfix has been released, but CD Projekt Red's stock value dropped by 29% in a week. CD Projekt Red later apologized for not showing Cyberpunk 2077 running on last-gen consoles, though they did show running the game on PS4 Pro and for the unstable launch of the game. As such, they offer refunds, though there have been some claims that PlayStation and Microsoft were not offering refunds in some cases. Even after the announcement, at least one Reddit user had managed to get a refund on PlayStation 4 prior to CD Projekt Red announcements, despite playing the game for over 10 hours. And now VGC reports that during a conference call with investors, CD Projekt Red's SVP of Business Development, Michael Nowakowski, revealed that there was no special agreement made with Sony and Microsoft over refunds, as existing policies were already in place. It should be noted that Microsoft and Sony have public policies when a game can be refunded, but those policies may be altered on a case-by-case basis. For unique situations, both companies may have special internal policies for those situations. When Cyberpunk 2077 falls under, as seen for the aforementioned Reddit user. When asked if the game's issues came from fears of delay in the game, again, or underestimating last-gen consoles, Nowakowski stated that the problems came from more us looking at next-gen PC and performance rather than current-gen. We did not spend enough time looking at that. So I wouldn't say that we felt any external or internal pressure to, launch the dates other than a normal pressure, which typically coincides with really any release. That was not the case. Discussing the certification stage, Sony and Microsoft deciding that if a game is in a fit state to be sold to other consoles, Nowakowski stated, I can only assume that yes, they were counting that we were going to fix things upon release and that we obviously did not come together exactly as we planned. The Q&A also reveals the lack of last-gen gameplay footage was due to the game being updated up until the very last minute, and we thought we'd make it on time, as he stated. Quoted, it was also revealed that the extra staff would not have aided the game performance on consoles, nor was external testers unable to make testing centers to quarantine orders as a major factor. The Q&A also revealed the game had initially good sales, especially on PC, and a lot of PC gamers enjoying the game, and we see very positive comments. However, it was too early to state how recent views would impact the sales. It was also too early for CD Projekt Red to discuss on any of the game's future DLC, multiplayer, or how refunds there have been. There were claims from Bloomberg's Jason Schreier claiming that the staff would receive bonuses despite the game's review scores and were also not addressed, though not implying the claim was false. We're not really making any comments to what somebody stated about, but prior to the studio outside, Nowakowski stated, Bloomberg sources have previously accused CD Projekt Red of crunch, which is actually Jason Schreier, which is denied by insider sources by CD Projekt Red. In other news, a user on Reddit has discovered a PC configuration file for 2077 that may have been improperly programmed, set up for console red PC, and is provided a fix. And that'll be the next article we'll go over. So yeah. My only thing is that we heard that they came out, I think it was the president came out, he stated in his own words that the game ran surprisingly well on last-gen consoles.
Yeah. That didn't age well.
That did not age well at all. So,
and look, this is one of those things where there's a lot of nuance to what was happening. CD Projekt Red cannot be absolved of blame and responsibility in this. However, from a technical aspect, the fact that this is a game that was initially announced, was it 2012 or 2013?
2012,
right?
Yeah.
This is basically just after, or was it just after or just before Witcher 3 had been announced as well? They mentioned, okay, we're working on this project next as well, a new IP. This was something that was initially being developed for one set of hardware, the vanilla PS4 and Xbox One platforms, which have certain specs and capabilities, right? Mm-hmm. Then we get the mid-console life upgrades, right? Mm-hmm. We get the PS4 Pro, we get the Xbox One X. All of a sudden, CD Projekt Red has this new ceiling that they can shoot for, right? And they're like, ooh, well, we want to make it look like this now. Because now we have these toys to play with. So now they're developing it with this in mind as far as on the higher end, whilst developing it for the PC. And then on top of that, the new console generation gets announced, right? The PS5 and the Xbox Series X. And they're like, ooh, new shiny toy. Let's now develop with this in mind. And all the while, they're trying to develop for vanilla last gen. They're trying to develop it for upper end last gen, new gen, and PC, and they optimize for none of it.
From what I've heard,
Mackie, can I jump in real quick?
Yeah.
So, from a game development perspective, I get the feeling, this is speculation, but I get the feeling that this is actually the result of the lockdowns and stuff. I don't know where the studio is located. I'm just because the way it works is when you're releasing on a console, you get a kit to play and test your game on, but that usually that's in a studio in a central location where anyone can go and update and like test things. So right now everyone has access to their computers if they're working from home. So the computer, the PC version continues to improve steadily at the same rate it was going to, but then the console ones I could see being bottlenecked in terms of testing. So they're not actually able to get to all the things and test it and then fix it and bring it back.
So
and
you
so
think
that back and forth is if they were affected by the lockdowns, then this could be a result of that, because there is actually
go ahead, Culture. I'm gonna piggyback after you.
No, all I wanted to say was so what you're saying is this. This is my takeaway, restating what you said, which is so because the SDK was limited, that's the package that the game company delivers that the developers get to play with prior to the release of a new console. So with that actual setup, they obviously didn't have access to that at home. So some of the normal polish that would normally occur because of regular access doesn't you believe that had that caused this problem?
Yeah, I am speculating that could have been a thing. I'm looking up right now where they're in Poland.
Yeah.
Right.
How did Poland do?
Right, and to answer Ords' question, the first release was set. It was initially set for April of this year. Then it got pushed back to November.
I thought it was set for March initially. Not February for sure, but I thought for certain it was March. Maybe it was April. But here's the thing: I see what Kai was going for there, but I disagree because of this. If that was the issue, then given that we'll go to geometry here. This is an if-then statement. If that was the issue, then the console version should basically be without problems outside of reasonable bugs. The console version, any issues should be limited to what a reasonable individual should expect of a game this ambitious and this size and scope and detail. This kind of how much it's filled with. It's packed. This game is so crammed with content. Yeah. I have to pull back my view, I have to zoom in my view on the freaking map in game in order to be able to select things sometimes, because there's just so much shit you can do on the map. It's ridiculous. Yeah. But that being said, that's all it should be limited to for the PC version. If what Kai said, at least to me, is true, and that's not the case. The PC version, and I've had people tell me, and your mileage may vary, right?
Right. Yeah.
Some people luck out. There are people that, they're running it without issue so far. Fat Steven Skull in the chat was one of them. I know Uche Nwari from Geeks and Gamers has had very few issues on the performance, and if any, it's mainly just been your typical bugs and glitches that a reasonable person should expect from a game of this scope. But there are a lot of other people that are running on quite beefy PCs. PCs that should be able to run this game on a performance side. Never mind any of the bugs. It's like, okay, whatever. It's a bug. They'll patch it. I'm not worried about that. But on the performance side, they're still I'm having my game. Like I said, I couldn't get to the start screen at one. I'd played for like an hour and a half yesterday, early evening before going live on one file, and then I was like, yeah, you know what? Screw it. I'm going to go live. I got nothing else to do for the rest of the evening. So I go live. I start up. Hey guys, all right, let's jump into some Cyberpunk. Boom, game crashes. Maybe I did a thing. Let's try this again. Boom, game crashes. It did it 4 times before I could actually get to the start screen and load up my file.
I'm not trying to say anything about its performance on PC or what I was trying to speculate on is the discrepancy between the consoles and the PC version, because the PC version has its issues and bugs, but it's a far cry from what console seems to be experiencing.
Right. I think both are having here's the thing. So I would expect in your scenario, and I haven't worked in game development, but I've worked in the video game industry for almost a decade. And I've chatted with developers, chatted with producers, basically every level that you can within a game development team or a publishing side. And I would expect there to be a fairly large gap between glitches, just your average glitches on PC and console. I would expect that because it's easier to optimize for PC. You have more to work with. That just makes sense to me. However, the performance side is where that loses weight, because if they were actually doing the work, then I would expect there to be an equal loss in performance as well. And I'm still seeing, while yes, PC is having far fewer performance issues, it's still having far more than I would reasonably expect a game that was probably initially built PC minded before console. That's how most games are nowadays. And it's like, okay, how do we port to PS4? How do we port to Xbox, or now Xbox Series X, PS5, whatever. Moving forward, that's how it'll be. It's just easier to do that rather than, because the thing with PC is it's almost a 1-for-1 minus like the graphical capabilities of moving from PC platform to Microsoft platform. And then you just have to make some tweaks to go from PC platform to PlayStation platform. But if you're developing it initially for one console, then it's way harder. It's harder to develop something for Xbox and then port to PC or PS4.
Yeah, that's true.
So it doesn't make sense to me. I can't give them that excuse.
Well, you know, interestingly enough, and again, I mean, I also spent an enormous amount of money on this computer. You know, I have been able to run at full speed on multiple screens with maximum frame rate, with everything. You know, I've had, you know, aside from the, you know, the weird glitch where I had zombie arms for a cutscene where I was like, you know, like I was driving when I was at a bar, which was really weird. But other than that, I really haven't experienced everything that everybody's worried about.
And so you're one of the lucky few. Just out of curiosity, Culture, what's your graphics card?
RTX 3080.
Oh, 30. Okay, so it seems like people that do have that high end, fairly. What do they have, a 3085 out now? Is what the newest one is. Something like that. But 3080, it seems like those people are having the fewest issues. That being said, I've been able to run everything at top settings. I think the only thing I have dialed down is the thing that's mirror reflections, or just reflective surfaces in general. I have that down on either high or medium instead of the max. Yeah. And ray tracing I have down slightly as well. Just I'm not using 4K monitors, so I don't fucking care. It's pointless to me. It's like I may as well just have my PC not have to work as hard, because I'm not going to really see as much of a difference because I'm not working off 4K monitors in general. If I had my rig hooked up to my TV, that'd be a different story. But I was able to run without basically any issues, with the exception I would every once in a blue moon, if I encounter a really congested area in Night City, all of a sudden my frames would drop to like 15 per second. I'm like, what the hell is happening right now? Come on. I should have no issue here. This should not be a thing. I don't have the beefiest thing in the world, but I have far more than the recommended. So it's silly to me.
Well, like I said, I mean, I haven't had the same problems. I think it speaks to the fact that it was developed, you know, and not optimized. And I think that's probably the best way to describe it.
Yeah.
You know, it was developed for a PC, with a PC in mind, and of course the ports to other consoles, exactly as you said. But I think that, you know, like I said, I don't think it was optimized for anything. I think that's kind of where that's what the patches are going to be that we're going to get.
They tried developing for 4 sets of platforms. PC, which is fairly fluid, for vanilla last gen, high-end last gen, and then new gen. And they wound up not being optimized for any of it yet. I have no doubt in my mind that'll get fixed.
Oh, absolutely.
The issue has been CD Projekt Red's response. And their lack of transparency in the matter. Right. I had I'm basically, I have my foot in my mouth right now. Just last week on Mary Mayhem's channel with President Abu Nas, we were talking very briefly about this and how I have really high expectations of this game because CD Projekt Red has a pedigree for me.
Yep.
Yes, Witcher 3 had glitches. They fixed them really fast. I can say this about Witcher 3. Yes, the game had bugs, but the bugs were patched very quickly. They were patched in real time, and it was a complete game. And so there was a pedigree there, and I had expectations of them, and they really they kind of hurt my expectations of what I expect now out of CG Projekt Red with this, because they had 8 years with this game. I would have been so fine with waiting another 2 or 3 months. Like, I was so hyped for this game, but I would have been perfectly fine. I'm fine with waiting. I'm fine with waiting. Give me a complete game, and give me a polished game. I'll wait a really long. I'm a Zelda fan. I'm used to waiting a freaking decade between games, practically. Yeah. So I'm fine with waiting. Just give me a finished product. Because as a game, I love the game. The game is so fun. But the polish and optimization is just non-existent.
Okay, so this is another one we found out, and this is about 2 days ago, and this is all from Niche Gamer. Reddit user discovers Cyberpunk 2077 PC configuration file setup for consoles, and it provides a fix. A user on Reddit has discovered a PC configuration file for Cyberpunk 2077 and may not have been improperly programmed, and this provided a fix. As previously reported, the game's numerous delays and leaked footage were not the end of the woes for CD Projekt Red. It should be noted that those who have not played the game may be submitted. Okay, let's see. Okay, it should be noted that those who have not, okay, Metacritic placed a 36-hour grade. Okay, let's go with it. Users. Okay, this is probably the same article again. Okay. CD Projekt Red later apologized for not showing Cyberpunk 2077 running on last-gen consoles and for the unstable launch. As such, they offer refunds, though there have been some claims that PlayStation and Microsoft are not offering refunds in some cases. Now, the Phoenix Royal Reddit user may have just worked out how to alleviate some of the game's issues on Windows PC. In short, it was a C number developer. They looked into the configuration files to see if anything could be adjusted. He discovered one of the files with the setup with the statistics for PC, Durango and Orbis. The latter two are Xbox and PlayStation operating systems, respectively. The pool PC CPU and the pool GPU settings were the same across the board, which is abnormal for Windows PC. The Phoenix Royal modified the configuration file and archived better graphical performance of their CPU and graphics card to run the game. Loading time was increased tenfold. As such, CD Projekt Red shipped the game with the wrong or erroneous configuration files. However, that hotfix patch 1.04, which is what we got this last week, overrides those changes, and as such, Phoenix Royal has provided a guide on how to tweak the configuration files. In summation, they recommend pool CPU is set to half the system's RAM, minus 4 gigabytes for Windows operating system, and pool GPU is equal to the VRAM of the graphics card. Before you change anything, the user does warn that results may vary and that it may crash the game or even operating system. For example, our own tech writer, Alan Watts, is going performance in both GPU and CPU bound scenarios improved and found stability was worse and with more frequent crashes. We are here at Niche Gamer also highly recommend conducting in-depth research before modifying the files on a computer and making backups of important files. We also recommend that you keep a copy of the config files before modifying them. After gaining advice from others, the Reddit thread, the user created a video guide with the more in-depth explanations. Others started a GitHub list of modifications and tweaks. So what it does sound like is that, not just like modders, but people who know PC are starting to mess around with some of the configuration files and such to see if it alleviates a lot of the performance issues and stuff. So
I'm not gonna futz with config files on my PC. I'm not nearly techie enough to do that. No, I'm not about that. I spent enough money on this rig. I'm not risking screwing that up. I'm not confident enough in my build to do that. I do want to quickly address something.
You make a copy first.
That makes enough sense. I don't have enough confidence. Let me put it this way. I bullshit my way through PC issues, okay? I play process of elimination with what I do know, which is not very much. I do want to quickly address something in the chat. Memes of Destruction says, Caffeinated Wolfe, didn't see Project Red offer refunds. Yes! They did. However, there's a huge caveat to this, and this is something that people who don't necessarily have as much in-depth experience with the gaming industry don't know or don't think about, is that when you buy a digital game, it might make you curious to know that you are not actually buying that game to own it. You are actually buying the license to lease it. You do not own that product. And within the terms and conditions that you scrolled all the way past and hit accept without reading, because we all do that, they can revoke that license of you to use that for any reason whatsoever. And there's nothing in there that requires them to refund it to you if you don't like it.
And that's where the problem lies, because the people who did buy the game digitally, it was already preloaded before launch.
Well, preloading is a common thing now, right? Because otherwise, with some people, especially here in the U.S., which ironically enough is not the greatest when it comes to like consistent Wi-Fi speeds or download speeds in general, there are still far too many areas, geographical locations in the United States, a first world country, the first world country, right, that don't have consistent internet or internet speeds or really. And so like if it was a matter of like you don't get to download that shit until like 12:01 a.m. on launch day, then guess what? You're not playing it until 2 days later for some of these people because their internet speeds, 25 gigabit or megabits per second is the best they can get in their area because they're working off freaking HughesNet. So, or the Salvation Army's free Wi-Fi. That's there for a reason. The preloading's there for a reason, and I actually have respect for that. I really like that we can do that because that way, 12:01 a.m. the game's available. It's launched. There's no longer a street date there. It's no longer a copywritten product with that regard. I can stream this shit on launch. It's going to boost my channel, right? Or I can make a review on this, right? That's something that's really important, especially for content creators like us. So I don't think that's a valid argument against this. There's just that's something people have to be cognizant of anytime they buy a digital product, that you don't actually own said digital product. You know all those people that lost their digital stuff with the Apple debacle, the iTunes thing. That can be the same thing with the PlayStation Store, the Xbox Store, any of that. That's just a fact of the matter. That's why I have always been such a proponent of physical media, even though it's so hard to get up off your butt, go grab the other case, reach for that eject button, put the other disc in, right? It's so hard.
Wait a minute. You still have a disk drive on your computer?
Don't hey, bro. I do too.
Oh, on my PC, no. Right. On my PC, no.
I got one on my PC.
No, but you bet your ass that my consoles.
He's referring to consoles.
Yeah, I'm referring to consoles. Because we're talking about, because Steam's a different issue. Steam has their own return policy, and that's their own in-house thing. But that is separate from a thing with the developer. Usually, the way that I understand how it works is with Steam, the developer doesn't have to give Steam back money. That's not how that works. Like if you return a product to a retailer, a physical product to a retailer, that retailer's taking that hit. Yeah, unless it's a manufacturer defect, which they then have specific policies and deals with the manufacturer for, then it gets shipped back to the manufacturer and they handle it on that end. That's different. But if it's a matter of I didn't like this, then if that retailer is choosing to take that return, choosing to honor that return, the retailer is the one taking the hit. So Steam takes that hit. Sony and Microsoft have zero obligation to take these returns. Zero.
Microsoft does have the best return policy as far as the consoles go for digital content, though. Nintendo is the least. Like, they're the worst. Like, if you pre-order
Nintendo
something...
Nintendo's about 3.5 decades behind everybody else and everything anyway.
That's true.
But, like, they still think it's the mid-'80s and they're kicking everybody's ass with the SNES.
To argue, I think with Sony is that once you download it and you start playing, then you can't get a refund. after it.
Yeah, there's a time.
No, there's a timer. You have like 13 days after you.
13 days.
Something like that. You have a time limit after you play it to return it, and then once you get past that, then you're not able to return it digitally.
And something to keep in mind. It like what CD Projekt Red's saying about the refunds. It's only affecting for a week. You only have like the end of this week or so before you can be able to ask for a refund, whether from Microsoft, Sony, or GOG, or wherever it's from. So yeah.
And there is legitimate reason for that too, because think about people that bought it on launch and had minimal to no issues, and they choose to just beat the game 3 or 4 times in between now and, say CD Projekt Red says, yeah, you got a month or you got 60 days, right? There are people that are going to take advantage of that. People are garbage. They're like, cool, all right, I had my fun. Where's my money back? All right, cool.
Yeah, like renting it.
Yeah.
This game was horrible. It crashed on me all the time. Right? There are people that will do that. I know because I've
been hearing that it runs better on the One X. As far as last gen, I've been hearing it runs,
and that's because optimized.
So if I get a refund, it would be to get it for that. Yeah.
So that's what I've been hearing on the One X. It is running a little bit better on the PS5 because Eric July, Young Rippa, he's been having problems since day one trying to run that game on PS5 with the numerous crashes.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, it crashes like every freaking minute, almost.
There were people. Oh gosh, you see, you don't mess with Rippa. You don't mess with Eric.
You don't.
So there were people in like his comments. He posted clips of like his streams on where he was playing it on PS5, and the thing just crashing on him to shit.
Crashing.
And there were people that were replying. I won't name names because these are people I know. There were people that were replying to him saying, dude, just why are you playing it on console anyway? Play it on PC. It's running. And he has taken this and ran with it. They used the word buttery smooth.
I've seen some of the comments.
Okay, so you probably know who I'm talking about then. So this individual said he runs buttery smooth and listed like their graphics card and their CPU and all this. And Rippa was like, all right, so he gets it on PC, right? All right, still has these performance issues, still has these bugs, still has this crashing. And then now he's clowning on them because now, this is why you don't mess with Eric. Now he's posting on Twitter, listing what his graphics card is better than this other person's graphics card, still having this issues with the receipts. And it's like, come on, man.
Because if you're gonna come at Rippa, you better come prepared.
If you are coming at Rippa, you better be 136.5% sure you are damned right. Yeah. Otherwise, your ass is toast.
You also look. There's threading problems and all kinds of things that are associated with different combinations of motherboards and graphics cards and stuff like that. You can ill configure a system pretty easily. It'll still run, but you aren't using any of the equipment to its maximum because you paired a motherboard with the wrong graphics card. So it's why when I put this PC or had this PC put together for me, this custom build, it's why I went with an Intel board that was perfectly paired with the RTX graphic card, because you could really screw it up and you would never get what you wanted out of the graphics card with the wrong motherboard. So, but I'm a real big fan of the Republic of Gamers boards, and they work very well, especially with the onboard X6 Wi-Fi. But anyway, it is what it is. So,
real quick,
just a second here. I want to say welcome, Ords.
Hey, what's up,
bro?
Hey,
man.
What's going on? Thank you for that, Angelo.
Sorry, I'm talking so much, guys. I know I'm just the guest here. This is a game that I've been so hyped for since it was originally announced, and I have so much love for CD Projekt Red as a developer because Witcher 3 is one of my favorite games of all time, and I'm at such a odd spot with this game because just from looking at it as a game, I love it so much. And then looking at it just as, what was it, McKinney or Angela said, as a product.
I did. That was me.
Okay. As a product, this is bad.
Yeah.
This is really bad. And I can't make excuses for this developer that I love, but I think that's important for us to do as consumers. Is we have to remain intellectually honest. We have to be able to both criticize the things that we love when they do shit that's bad, and we have to be able to praise people that we don't like when they do shit that's good.
Basically,
you have to be able to take it as a case by case basis.
Basically, when we criticize like EA, Activision, Blizzard, or Take-Two, Ubisoft, and such, we got to hold CD Projekt Red to that same standard.
And Ripa had a video about exactly that, because there are people, and it's frustrating. There are people even within this community that are like getting on people who are, saying, "Hey, CD Projekt Red, get your shit together." They're like, "Hey, stop talking bad about CD Projekt Red. You're playing the damn game. You know it has problems. They don't get a pass. It has to be an equal standard."
I think, this is something.
Atlantean's gonna head out here.
Okay.
So, Atlantean, you want to plug anything, or say goodbye, or tell them where you can be found?
I got nothing to plug, so I'll just say I'll catch you guys later.
All right. Good evening.
Thanks for being here,
Good hanging
man.
with you, Atlantean.
Take care,
Dude.
So, real quick, I just kind of want to, because I heard you guys talking earlier when I was on the way home from work, and I just kind of want to throw my 2 cents in about the whole CD Projekt Red Cyberpunk thing. I'm kind of where you're at, Andrew, where it's like, I love this game. I see the potential. I see the mechanics. I see where they were going with it. They were really trying to bring this RPG element into like this, like basically meshing genres together, like the first person with. I mean, it is definitely a big thing, and I don't want to take the anger for this bug situation out on like the developers, but you're also right, as a company, they need to be held absolutely responsible. And I think it's okay to support the developers and say, hey, maybe this was the corporate heads saying like, no, we have to get this out for third quarter reasons.
Get it out before the end of the year.
Just push it out. We'll get the return, and then you see the stock price, fall, and then now they're coming out saying like, this is our number one priority to fix the game.
Yeah.
Well, yes, you would have lost pre-orders. You would have lost pre-orders. When it comes to releasing the game, when you or if you would have put it back a little bit further, you would have lost pre-orders. But if that game
would have put it outside of this fiscal year, right, what it would have done,
right. Which I think, from a game developer standpoint, and everything that we believe CD Projekt Red to be known for, which is quality and making sure that a game is big and plays well and all this stuff. And I know Witcher had issues, nowhere near as bad as this, but the thing with that, though, is yes, you would have lost pre-orders, but I think if you would have pushed it out and this game come out perfect, would have been 100% ready to go, you would have got those people back, because everybody else who decided to stay with it will put their reviews up, will say how good this game is, and then those people are going to come back to that game. Oh, I probably should have got that game when it came out, or I shouldn't have been mad about it. Like, I understand the frustration about it. 8 years is a long, the entire life cycle of a console, that it skipped a generation, and this game is the way it is absolutely no excuse. But to be a fly on the wall inside CD Projekt Red, I think would give us better detail, better understanding of where this idea let's just release it before Christmas time came from. Because I don't necessarily think it was the developers. I think the developers were saying, hey, this is what's going to happen if we release it. And then the executive heads are like, well, we got to make these numbers. We got to make it look good for the investors. We got to make it look like this year ended on a good spot. So let's do that. Well, then what you had was the stock just completely tanking.
It plummets. Yeah.
The second the game comes out. I'm with you, Andrew. I'm kind of in this middle spot where it's like
the exact opposite of what they wanted.
I'm mad that the game is not complete. But I also sympathize with these guys who they said no crunch. There was crunch. Look, this game is almost
every developer has crunch.
Right. That's come on, man. You can't look. These people sign the dotted line. You don't have to work for CD Projekt Red if you don't want to. If you don't want, look. I'm saying the conditions, they should be better. Absolutely, but also understand that people sign these jobs. They sign these papers for these jobs willingly. This is not nobody's holding a gun to their head. But so it's this weird spot, man. Weird spot that I
actually want to piggyback off of something you said, or you brought up something that I think is a really good point and something that's important to jump on, and it's that had they pushed it back, yes, you would have lost some pre-orders because there would have been people that said this thing's never coming out. It's vaporware. This is StarCraft Ghost. This is Half-Life 3. I'm gonna see this never, because that's how gamers get now. Gamers, especially my generation, and younger, even worse, are just zero attention spans. Attention spans of like negative 8,000 really is what it is. That's why they're only buying digital. That's why they're only streaming, etc. But you would have gotten them back when they see, oh, this is a good product, right? And I think this is where you get, and I'm not trying to compare this to The Last Jedi, but there's something to be compared with here. Only insofar as CD Projekt Red basically sacrificed the goodwill that they had with their base, people who, like myself, claim to be CD Projekt Red guys. I was a cheerleader for CD Projekt Red. They were basically my favorite developer. And I'm not saying that I'm not anymore, but there are a lot of people that would say that they're not, because they've lost that goodwill with CD Projekt Red.
It's crazy how many people have fallen off the CD Projekt Red bandwagon just because like this issue. Now,
right, but at the same time, if you had those same people, like if you had made people like myself that are CD Projekt Red fans wait a little longer, a few months longer, 2, 3, 4, even 4 months, we would have been like, oh man, come on, I want to play the game. But then it would have come out, we would have loved it, and that would have been it.
Yeah.
That would have been it. We would have like, all right, CD Projekt Red people aren't going to cancel their pre-orders. All the people that are like, ooh, that looks like a really cool game, and they pre-ordered it 18 months ago, and it's getting pushed back again, maybe they'll cancel the pre-order, but they'll get it again. You won't lose your base.
Right. I think if it was me, I would have waited till the next year anyway, for the simple fact that, you're not going to have great numbers. But as the whole beer bug stuff starts to clear up, which in my the way I look at it, or what I've read, we're looking at another year of this, okay? So coming towards the tail end of 2021, we're going to be looking at getting out of it. Now, you could end this year kind of trash, right? And your investors might not be happy. But you go into next year, the beginning of next year, you release the game, right? It's got all year to steam, stew, develop. You can add stuff, whatever you want to do all year long, and then end that 2020 on a good, fiscal point, and then your investors are happy. But this does nothing, and clearly it backfired on them.
Well, I feel like the warning. I feel like the warning sign. I saw it, and I think many of us saw it on November 9th, the day before release. The fact that the only review copies were sent out were PC version. There was no review copies whatsoever for the PS4 or Xbox One version. And the fact that many of the gaming YouTubers were complaining the fact that CD Projekt Red didn't let them show their own footage.
Yeah.
Just so they can review it before launch day. And we've never seen, and no developer has ever done that.
That tells me that they weren't confident. They already knew.
And
it's
then
like, this thing's going to be a shit show.
When they say in their apology, like, oh yeah, we dropped the ball on that. No, you knew. You didn't drop the ball. You kicked that effort across the field.
They knew.
Not even play. That's where I get angry about it. It's like when you begin to lie, when the integrity that we looked at you having as a company, very transparent as the game's coming up. Hey, we're gonna have to push it back, guys. We're sorry. This is why we're gonna push it back. All right, thank you for being transparent with us. And now all of a sudden the game's launched. We see exactly what was going on behind the veil. That's what pisses me off. I don't care if your game takes 4 more, like you said. I don't care if the game takes 4 months to release. The second you lie to me, you've lost me at that point. You're a company that $60. We're investing this money into this company because we want to see more products like this, not just because we like this product, okay? Because we want to see more products. And then when we invest our money in something and we get a half-ass product back, and then you lie to us about it, like that's what gets me, man. So, if you are just transparent with people, people are going to be pissed. People are going to be mad. They're going to cancel their pre-order. Yes, they are. But you're talking like Andrew. You are CD Projekt Red, dude. CD Projekt Red, right? Like,
dude, I bled CD Projekt Red. I have been hyped for this thing for the last 8 freaking years.
And then they just dump on you. Like, okay, the game comes out, it's not working, it's almost not playable on certain consoles. Okay, that's be upset about it. That's figured out. The patch, cool, whatever. Then you lie. That's the tipping point. We're on the edge, and then you lie about it blatantly. You can't say that you dropped the ball on it because you didn't even try.
No, I think you and Andrew hit the nail on the head, Ords. Like, you're only getting a few people dropping their pre-orders. That's better than having a bad launch where everybody's trying to get refunds and your stock drops significantly because of it.
Not to mention the people who were waiting to get this game to see what this game was all about. Now, I didn't pre-order it until like 2 days before it came out, right? I was just like, all right, well, I better do that now. I don't want to miss out on anything. But there was those people who were waiting to see. If you would have just waited 4 more months, not only would you had the hardcore CD fans, you would have had the people who were waiting to see. You would have had the people who canceled their pre-orders. Come on,
guys! I used to work for GameStop. There are people that have had this game pre-ordered for like 3 years.
Yeah,
dude. And there were people who took time off. Now, admittedly, like whatever, that's your fault. You want to take time off for a video game from work? That's between you and your boss. And I don't want to hear about that because you know how this industry works. They push things back. You got to be prepared that if you take time off work for a video game, that's on you, brother. You can't be mad at CD Projekt Red for your work time. Oh, I took time off work to play this game. That's on you, man.
Yeah.
Pat Steven Seagal says, but how much did people's expectations also affect their views of the release? There's nuance to that statement, though. That is something that I think only applies to content. That's something that, I was expecting the game to be like this. I was expecting the game to be polished and complete.
Yeah.
Those are two different things.
Yeah. Right, and to add on what Fast Steven said, high content transparency. Yeah, there was a lot of hype building of it. Like think of all the Night City Wire episodes and just the huge amount of marketing they've been doing for years leading upon to this release, and just having it just fall apart on release day like that, and just seeing all the problem signs going in there. I mean, that does hurt trust, because there was so much anticipation, there's so much built up for it, to just have it all come crashing down like that. Like, I wouldn't some are saying that this is like comparison to how bad Anthem is, and
so I want to comment on something Pat Stevens said. He said he agrees with Ords, but how much of that was executive decisions over the actual devs?
Well, that's what I was saying.
I'm willing to bet money that it's 100% the executives, because a creative in the working on the game, like dedicating years to this game, they want to see it be the most awesome thing ever. Artists don't like letting incomplete products go out. They don't like letting even a complete product. I've been working on my book forever, and I knew it was done, but I still felt nervous putting it out there and showing it to people. But it's, eventually you have to do it. But as a creative, when you see if you see the performance that this game is at, you're going to say, no, it's cool. I'll do overtime. Just delay it, please. We can fix this stuff. We just need time.
Here's the thing, though. CD Projekt Red isn't like BioWare, where they're owned by EA. They have a larger publisher over them. They're not Gearbox and have 2K over their heads. CD Projekt Red, by and large, sure, they have a board, they have this and that most corporations most businesses are going to, but they don't get the same excuse that BioWare does with something like Mass Effect 3 or Mass Effect Andromeda or Anthem. Anthem was actually 95% BioWare's fault anyway. Saying that it was ready and they hadn't done anything until like 8 months before release. They're largely an independent developer. They're their own person. They're not owned by EA or Activision or Ubisoft. This is at the very least on the technical side. It's on them. I don't give them a pass.
Here's-
I don't give a
here's-
pass to them for
Here's
that.
the thing, and I don't give them a pass either. And the fact that I can still run the game better than most is, I understand that's an unusual circumstance, but let me just say it this way. People are still loving the game. People are still enjoying the game, glitches and all.
Yeah.
This isn't a game that's unplayable. It's not like Fallout 76, or it's not Anthem. It's not any of those other things. But could it have had a better launch? Absolutely. But nowadays, this is probably one of the better launches, considering we didn't get a bunch of messed up story. And we have a great story. We have an incredibly detailed world. We have non-game affecting things that are coming out of the woodwork to kick us in our gaming nuts. It's not like The Last of Us 2, where we were subjected to all kinds of abuse even before the game was released.
Mm-hmm.
This is should they have delayed it? Yes. Should they have tried not to be nearly as ambitious, or should they have focused more on just the PC side and then ported it out to the consoles later? Sure. I mean, that would have made more sense. It's coming out on PC, it's delayed for a few months, and so you'd have people that'd be pissed off, but they would still be buying the game when it came out. That's the thing. I am willing to let CD Projekt Red, have a little more rope still than I do any other game studio. I mean, BioWare's a hot mess, and
I'm convinced they're going to somehow manage to screw up the Shepherd trilogy when they re-release it as a legendary edition. Here's the thing, Culture. You just
multiplayer from what I heard.
Culture that does make me sad because I love Mass Effect 3's multiplayer. Culture, you just described to me something that I think we are all universally feeling, which is a complete game. We don't feel like we got an incomplete game where it is missing content. It's missing polish. This is not a finished game.
Right.
Yeah.
And I am still, even though I want to be equal opportunity, I want to, equality across the board. I'm not going to necessarily give CD Projekt Red a pass. They still get a little bit more wiggle room for me because I do have confidence that they are going to address and fix all of these things. It's just, I also at the same time, I had the confidence that I wasn't going to be experiencing nearly as many of these things with a CD Projekt Red product. And the game I have basically, I think with the game itself, I have one main complaint with it. It's I expected more out of the character creation suite, and that's it.
Agreed.
Like other than that, as a game, and I've been hammering on this all night. As a game, it's a complete game, and I am loving it to death. But it's not finished.
See, I want you to be honest, Andrew, real quickly. Are you just upset because you don't get to have a bigger dong? Is that the thing?
I mean, it'd be nice to make it more lifelike, but no, that's not it. It's more specifically, they didn't even have to have it have anything to do with the genitals at all. I really couldn't care less about that because I'm not running around naked in the game. So why the hell do I care to begin with? What it is that I wanted sliders for body parts, not the genitals, right? I want to be able to have more broad shoulders or more skinny shoulders, more narrow shoulders, a larger chest, whether as a male or as a female. Larger, like my female corporate, I want to make it look more like my lady. So it's got to have, a little bit more up top, a little bit more down the bottom, but I can't do that.
No.
And I can't make my dude look a little more like 90, not exactly 90s comic book style, but a little, right?
We're not
punch through a concrete wall.
We don't have sliders.
We don't have sliders.
Yeah.
Everything outside of that within the character creation suite is fantastic.
Yeah, yeah.
Everything. I have zero complaints outside of that.
Yeah, we're not expecting. Okay.
Sorry, Maki. I just want to make this point real quick, like kind of what we're talking about. Yes, I agree with you. I feel like CD Projekt Red does deserve a little bit of rope room, but let's not forget what I said earlier, guys. They lied to us. And then, like Airhead in the comment section here makes a good point. He says there were transcripts out of CDPR admitting they knew the game was incomplete, but then came out and said the game plays great. Like,
they said it ran surprisingly well on last gen consoles.
If this is surprisingly well, what were you expecting?
Right. Look, when it comes to the devs, I give all the devs all the rope they need. I will give
Because it's running like hamsters are on wheels back there.
I give all the developers the rope that they need, but it's the executives that lied to us about it. That's what leaves the bad taste in our mouth. I can take a punch to the face, okay? I can take a punch to the face, but the second that you put that sour taste in my mouth, man, that's when I'm like, oh, do I really want to support this company? I have no problem waiting. As long as the company is transparent. When you begin to lie to me that's when the tipping point starts to go out of your favor. So I'm torn because I love CD Projekt Red myself. I love what the devs are about. I love the core idea behind it. But they shit on us. We have become beta testers.
Yeah.
So
it's not a finished game. It's a complete game, and there's a difference between the two. I think
Absolutely.
content wise, it's there. Content wise, it's so there. Like even right now, talking about it, I'm like, I want to fucking fire up CD Projekt Red right now, or I want to fire up Cyberpunk. I'm so hyped to play this game. But then in the back of my mind, I'm like, is it going to crash on me 4 times before I get to the main menu?
You know, not gonna crash. World of Warcraft Shadow.
Yeah.
Last time I played WoW was when Lich King had just barely come out.
Amen, brother. Amen.
So,
Amen.
I prefer action MMOs. I prefer action MMOs.
for me, like
That's why I like you, Andrew.
to add on Andrew saying, yeah, we weren't expecting something like a Black Desert Online or like the MMOs with those really detailed like character creation that you would spend like hours upon hours on end, but we were hoping for stuff like body sliders where you can adjust different body parts and just have less body parts, stuff like that.
Give me a couple dozen face
personally,
presets, but then give me sliders for the body.
Well, like you said, I think you just hung up on how many you only got 2 flaccid,
and a barber shop.
and a barber shop. Yeah.
Okay, yeah, I do have to say, why is it that we can't go to a barbershop and change our hairstyle in game?
Apparently, in the dark future,
and the funny thing is, I
ran
into this section in the town where it has these big, huge like silhouettes of like either a female and a freaking, and it looks like you could walk into it and it would like change that stuff, but you can't do anything. And I was like, what the hell? This would be like a perfect spot to add like a barbershop or something to change your body, because the game is all about body modification. You should be able to change all that stuff whenever the hell you want.
Not to mention that
it might be turned off right now, so I think you can get it.
There was the advertisement of the woman with the big dong, right? The big giant, like you could you would notice it. Why do I not get a dong that big in the game? That's
It'd be Lord Long Dong.
That dong makes my dong in a game.
Right? I can't even make it look like it does when it's flaccid. What am I supposed to do here?
Well, that's the thing. Y'all. It's like, you know, the cyberpunk genre. It is about individuality. Like,
damn you, CD Projekt Red.
So fun fact. So I want to tie this dong slider conversation into a fun fact about the crappy was it the Ang Lee Hulk movie? Yeah, I think it was the Ang Lee Hulk movie. I know someone who was an animator on that movie, and she said that the rig had a dong slider, so because you can transition from or was it the Edward Norton one? One of the Hulk movies. See, when you're transitioning from Bruce Banner to the Hulk, like you can scale every single part of his body, including his junk. So some animator out there was every animator that worked on that Hulk movie was or maybe even every Hulk movie has been playing with the Hulk's junk, you know.
That's right, Pat.
Hulk smash.
Oh, I need the whole bottle here.
We need to go to a Ripper doc and make our songs like weapons in game. You know?
I know, right?
The thing is, that's such a small thing to me anyway. Like that wasn't nearly as important.
That's why it's a small thing.
Yeah.
Comparatively, yes, but just it wasn't. I don't view that as a necessity. It's far more important to me to be able to shape the overall body build as a custom character, right? That makes a lot more sense. That adds a lot more individuality to your character.
One thing I will agree. One thing I do think that needs to be adjusted is the AI across the board.
With respect to,
I think with respect to not only just kind of like enemies, but also with NPCs and how they're walking around, how
the
NPCs.
NPCs, I'm definitely there with you. Yeah,
I do have a pump for that.
It needs to be like the game is immersive, but I think the NPCs need to be much more work, and just have to make it feel even more immersive, because it feels like they're just kind of walking, or it's not really much is happening.
they feel more like props than other people in the world.
Yeah. And
some areas feel pretty empty too.
Yeah, and I feel like there should be more random encounters, like random stuff happening throughout the game world, even if like the game started off as such. But
randomly generated encounters.
Yeah, like because like a lot of the all the crimes and stuff you find are all like plans, like missions and jobs.
Yeah.
And there's no like stuff like this. Like
there
happening.
Are
like say you could be walking. Say you
like
could be walking around the street
crimes
and
that happen just randomly.
Yeah, like a robbery just happens all of a sudden.
So Angelus, you said there's some places that feel really empty. I don't actually have a problem with that in games. A lot of people have that same complaint about Breath of the Wild, but with Breath of the Wild, you get that.
Yeah, that's my biggest complaint.
Ride your horse and haul ass, and the world feels lived in. The world feels you can breathe. You know.
The world for Breath of the Wild, and I have the 500-hour game clock, 500+ hour game clock on that game to be able to speak to this. Is that yes, the game feels lived in, despite from a distance the game world looking maybe empty. Like there's not. I could stand. I hope this is something
I'm just speaking for the first 2 hours. So
I hope this is something they address with the sequel, which is that
they
fill Hyrule with more stuff.
Basically, kind of what you're saying is that like the game.
What I meant, Angelus, was that I'm okay with that in games in general, because that's the world. There aren't things and people everywhere all the time. And so when you're somewhere and you're kind of the only one there, that happens sometimes in life. And I appreciate that, seeing that in games where they don't feel like they have to cram every single inch of everything with like stuff.
But
like,
I know that like first like
cram every inch. Is that another dog joke or what, buddy?
I know that first area,
and I'm not saying. I'm just saying.
I'm gonna cram my only inch. All right, here, buddy.
Okay, slow down, Ords. Slow down there.
Sorry, that's the feeling show. I apologize.
I know that first area where they showed in the trailer when you're walking out of your apartment and it's like the circle, like roundabout kind of thing. They showed like tons of people like in there, and I feel like there's not as many people as they made it out to be.
Damn, Andrew, did you see that? The Senate said only 500 hours.
That's not gonna happen because I'm on freaking console.
To say what Andrew was saying is like, you know, that's one of the great things about Cyberpunk is that like the game feels lived in. Like I feel like even if my PlayStation is turned off, it's like there's something always going on. It's like it's alive in its own way. But just like, you know, more adjustments to the NPCs and such can really make it feel even more immersive than it already is. What was it? It's and another thing, a glitches thing is that like my settings, like I turn my music down, and whenever I start a new session, like the settings, they don't save the settings for you. And I've heard that some people had problems with like mapping the controls.
I've had issues, not so much with that, but I have had issues where like I turned down certain things, like I mentioned before, I turned ray tracing on low or off, or I turned, you know, the subspace reflection or whatever it's called down. I've had it like I booted up the game again and all of a sudden it's back to ultra and I'm like, the fuck?
Yeah.
What's happening here? That's a minor thing to me. That's a nitpick. That's something like, oh shoot, that's happening. Let's patch that. That's easy.
Yeah, it's just a nitpick for me. It was just like because I turn the music down, and then but whenever I start a new game, the music's always still back at 100, so I have to keep changing and just turn it down. That's just nitpick me. To make it
clear to the people in the chat, I'm not hating on the game.
No,
I love the game. The product needs work.
Yeah,
it does.
The game itself, just give me that polish. And this, I will if I was reviewing
playable than launch day.
Mhm.
It is, and that what was it, day 1 or day 2 patch that they had did fix a lot of people's issues, at least on the PC side. But give me the polish that this game deserves, because it's such a good game, and this is easily a 9 out of 10 for me. Like, it's so easily a 9 out of 10, but I can't justify that with it as unfinished as it is.
It's a 6. I'm going to be harsh. It's a 6 because of the bugs issues. That is, it drops a point. But the fact that, Ords is saying, CDPR, they did lie to us, and I feel like I can't just let that slide. So that drops a point too. So it's a solid game, but just all those things bring me back. Like, I hope that once the patches, everything fixed up, that we get that Cyberpunk that we saw back in 2018 with that 45-minute demo.
Yeah. Here's the truly sad thing, and I didn't get to this game until almost a full calendar year after it actually launched. But back in August, mid or late August, I finally got around to playing Jedi Fallen Order. Okay, the most recent second most recent Star Wars game, because we got Squadrons, but
don't
care about that. I did not think a world in the multiverse existed where I would have more praise for a game that was published by EA. Granted, Respawn Entertainment has a really great track record, and they were the developer. But no matter how good the developers, and we've seen this with BioWare, because they used to be a top-tier developer, and then they got bought by EA, and then they turned to dog shit. Flaming dog shit at that.
Yeah. One of the last, was it owners of or designers? Somebody, one of the final original people from BioWare, left.
Casey Hudson.
Yeah.
Casey Hudson, and I forget what the chick's name was, but they both bounced. But
so many
I did not think.
BioWare, so.
Yeah, I did not think a world in the multiverse existed where I would have more praise for a game that was published by EA than a game that was developed by CD Projekt Red, just as a complete thing. And I know that right at launch for the first week or so, there were some minor performance issues that some people were having on the vanilla console versions of Jedi Fallen Order, but those got fixed really well. And I had no issues playing. I played through once on my Xbox and twice on my PC, and I just, it's hard for me to fathom a world where that happened. I'm like, wait, EA, maybe they were more hands off in this matter. Maybe they finally fucking got a clue and were like, you know what, maybe let's not fuck this up. And they took a step back. But still, EA is on it.
Well,
and
here's
that's
the thing.
enough.
Here's the thing, Andrew. Respawn, they had a solid track record. Because you think how successful Apex Legends was for them. And you think about how good, besides, it was EA's fault that, Titanfall 2 had that bad launch that it had. That was squarely on EA putting in the release between two big games at the time. But, Respawn is the one that's kind of asserting that, no, we're not going to let EA force us to use their crappy Frostbite engine. We're using our own engine. We're going to do this our way. And EA saw that, and EA saw with the success of Apex Legends, okay, we're going to let Respawn, they take over. We're not going to interfere with them as much.
Soul Assassin actually makes a good point that I honestly am surprised I didn't think of. He says, I think EA was hands off with Fallen Order because they didn't like single player games at that time, I believe. And that's true. EA for the longest time has been saying there's no money in single player Star Wars games. Guess what, motherfuckers? Jedi Fallen Order was the second highest selling game this year outside of Call of Duty.
There you go.
If the only thing that beat you is Call of Duty, you're doing all right. You're doing okay. You're doing okay.
Yeah.
Considering Call of Duty outside of FIFA, because that's an international thing.
Right.
That's the world sport. Is the number one selling game basically every year without.
I was gonna say every year. Yeah.
And
Wow.
So
despite-
I expect better out of CD Projekt Red.
Yeah, and
if
despite
I can
all
have
of
that.
CD Projekt Red's bugs, I would rather have a buggy but absolutely solid, deep, and rewarding RPG game than a technically sounding everything's all right, but a completely shitty story like The Last of Us 2.
Yeah. See, like at least when it comes to me, like if I'm playing the game and I see an NPC walk by and the polys haven't quite just come yet, or the character looks a little funny, that doesn't bother me as much as like the crashing or you know, like there's a few. I remember one time I actually reset some things on the video card, and I couldn't even get to the load screen at all. Like it was just one little adjustment I had made, and it was like, nah, we're not going to let you go in here at all. The game's going to try to load and then just crash on you. So yeah, there it is.
What do you mean, Steven? Genshin or Cyberpunk? You're saying? Are you asking if I like Genshin Impact or Cyberpunk 2077 more? Is that what you're asking me? Because I've been streaming them both. Like those are two completely different games. Like that's like, hey, do you like pizza more or do you like vanilla ice cream? What?
I like
I can't roll with Genshin. I was like, I already have one gacha game.
Oh, see, that's the only one that I really play. I freaking love Genshin Impact. That game's so fun. Apollo Patriot says, you want to know why Jedi Fallen Order is popular on PC? As mods, you can play as Revan. Actually, if you go to my Twitch channel, twitch.tv / Caffeinated Wolfe, I have an entire playthrough of Jedi Fallen Order where I play with the Revan mod on. Because Revan's my boy. That is literally the only mod that they could have come out with for me to not play as Cal. Because people were telling me, oh, there are mods. You can play as Vader. You can play as Boba. I don't fucking care. I like Cal as a character a lot. There are very specific reasons why that character means a lot to me. This isn't a Star Wars stream, so I won't get into it. But when somebody told me, hey, you can play as Revan, I'm like, all right. All right, I'll download that mod.
Yeah, man. I just.
But
I think that,
let's switch gears. I know.
Well,
I know Kai wants
you
to
want
announce what we have next week.
All right, sure.
Yeah.
But before we do, I feel bad for everyone who was looking forward to what's it called, Cyberpunk, and has been let down. So if you're looking for some sci-fi with no bugs, got this book for you here. Check it out. A complete product. I promise it's done. You can buy it now on Amazon and it'll show up a complete thing that you can enjoy.
What if the printer messes up and I get a bad copy? What about then?
What if I find some spelling errors in there? How good of an editor did you have?
But yeah, so
and if you order it from his website, he will sign it.
Wait, you mean to tell me this book is only so big? I can't get this book any bigger than what it already is?
There's no slider for that. Sorry.
Nope, I don't want it.
It is
no slider.
Book slider.
Show him, Angela. Show him the signature, the picture. You can cover up the words if you want. But yeah, I'll draw you some shit. I'll sign my name. I'll write a nice note. You got options.
Can I buy the book without any of that?
Yep.
Yeah, you just get it on Amazon.
No, go check out the book, man. Everybody who's read the book
That's good, Angela. Thank you.
Nice and personalized.
I say everybody who's read the book says it's awesome. So go check out this freaking book. I don't know what you guys are doing.
Yeah, and I can't wait to get my book report put together. That is on my plate for this weekend, along with my member stream. Yeah, book report. Yeah.
Okay, Brenner. All right, so a couple weeks ago,
I'm sorry. He says, Kai, can you give me women with milk?
Shut up, Apollo.
You guys be nice to Apollo, right?
I love Apollo.
Messing with me ever since that stream.
Good. I'm glad. You need a little bit of that in your life.
Right, so a couple weeks ago, there was this Game Awards show, and it was happening, I think, around the same time that we were doing our show. And someone in the chat asked, are you guys watching this? We said, no, we don't care. And the response to it was that a lot of people were not happy. A lot of people called shenanigans, and a lot of people
I wonder why.
got very angry. So I decided that we're gonna respond to all those people who felt like things weren't quite on the up and up. And next week we're doing a Player's Choice Game Awards 2020.
Nice.
I'm still working on some promotional art and stuff, but probably tonight or tomorrow, we're gonna start running polls on. I'm gonna start running polls on Twitter with all the categories and their what's it called? Categories and the contestants. There's 2 types. We're gonna go best by genre and achievements. Best by genre includes best action adventure, best fighting / beat 'em up, best RPG, best strategy, best sports / racing, and best multiplayer.
Awesome.
Okay.
And then
That's great. Make sure you tag all of us in those tweets so we can get those figured out.
Yeah,
Gotta
we
answer your
can
question.
do it.
I still got to set up the polls and stuff. That's next after the promotional stuff. But so I'm anticipating I'll finish by the end of the day or by tonight sometime. But the achievements are best debut game, best ongoing game, best score / music, best visual direction, best story, best indie game, and game of the year.
Nice.
And I'm also going to be sharing these to all the appropriate subreddits so that the communities that care about these games have a chance to see this and hopefully participate. And yeah, let's make a Game Awards show. Chris,
Do you have a sneak peek of nominees?
Yes, I have I have 6 nominees for each category, and I have 8 for Game of the Year, and I'm debating on having 8 for Best Indie Game. I'm gonna consult with you guys about that.
Sounds good.
Hey, Kai, remind me tomorrow night when we do our Among Us stuff. Remind me to plug that, or like just interrupt me, be like, hey, let's do that. And then this weekend, let's promote that as well, because this is a really great idea.
For sure. Thank you.
Kind of answer your question. Yes, I'm a big racing game enthusiast.
Oh yeah. I asked you that because in the chat, I was gonna like give you shit during your stream, but then I was like, no, we haven't announced it yet. Because
to answer your question, yes.
I asked for help putting together the lists. Runner, thank you for that help.
Yeah, Runner, you're a good man, Runner.
Yeah, he's okay.
Speaking of racing games, I have to say it's kind of sad that it was already sad enough that Microsoft didn't have a Halo at launch of the new Xbox, but didn't have a new Forza either.
Well, Forza,
It's a racing game, guys.
Forza, shut up, Ords.
Still, Forza is the showcase title.
You make another game like Road Rash, and I'm in. Okay.
Forza is a showcase title.
So Forza 8, Forza Motorsport 8, technically a reboot, is not going to be out until 2022, and that's done by the Turn 10 side.
Yeah,
because Playground Games, they got tasked to reboot. What was it? What was the Microsoft title? Fable. Fable.
Fable. Yeah.
Fable. Yeah.
But it's still that's something where it showed a lack of foresight to me. Yes, people, myself included, want a new Fable, but Forza is a showcase series where that's one of those games that this shows you just how beautiful something can look on our platform.
It is, but I don't think they don't want. But the problem is that I don't think
20 people that play the game.
Yeah. Hold on.
Anybody who takes racing games seriously plays Forza, not Gran Turismo anymore. Not since Forza 2.
Culture's right, everybody. Nobody plays racing games. They're lamos. Come on.
Okay, so to answer,
you're not invited to Mario Kart tonight, Ords.
Oh, I think the reason is because
it's not a racing game.
They had a problem.
Let's stay on topic here for a second.
Well, can I at least say? I'll just say this: Turn 10, they had the issue of cut content and a lot of cut content after Forza 5 was released as a launch title on Xbox One. So I don't think they don't want to make that same mistake again.
Yeah. Well, I'll tell you this: whoever said that Mario Kart, was that you, Angelus? It's not a racing game. You're right.
Anyway.
Because it's got rockets and you can blow people up, and it's a lot of
God,
fun.
yeah.
Just like
It's
like
an
there was, one
arcade
NASCAR,
racer.
there was one NASCAR
You know
game
what?
that I enjoyed back in the day, and that was because you can
Yeah,
get a
Andrew.
mod where you put a paintball gun at the end of your car. You can shoot people with it. I like that stuff.
I want to talk
Twisted Metal. Twisted Metal.
I liked Blur. I really liked Blur.
Twisted Metal, baby. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah. Okay. No, I'm with you. I like racing
Go ahead,
/ combat games. I love that. But there is this a little game that came out recently on Steam, Hot Shot Racing. I got it
I
installed.
love it.
Mm-hmm.
It's a great throwback to the '90s arcade stuff like Daytona USA, Ridge
But
Racer.
it handles like a
Stud
modern
Race.
game.
Yeah, it's a great throwback. Call back to that.
Yeah, Hot Shot Racing is up for Best Sports / Racing
Nice.
alongside Super Mega Baseball 3, F1 2020, Art of Rally, EA Sports, UFC 4, and Football Manager 2021.
What? No
like the
NBA
baseball
2K21.
Ask Grippa. Nope.
No Madden 21.
Yeah, I did some real digging and research for these. I felt like there was a lot of the same stuff in some of the other awards nominations that I've seen. So I've got Eichenfeld in here a few times, or a couple times. Disco Elysium, Spelunky, Spiritfarer. Beautiful game.
I heard that Disco Elysium, they're releasing a director's cut of that with like actual voice acting and such.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
Thank you, memes. Thank you,
Well,
memes.
and I haven't played it, so I don't know nothing about it.
Oh, rest in peace. Yes, I saw. Rest in peace, Boba Fett.
Ghost Runner is up there as under Best Action Adventure. There's a lot of cool stuff in here. Like there are some games that once I saw it, I was like, I need to buy this game because it looks amazing.
Now, Kai, here's my question: is The Last of Us 2 on this list?
I have it under Best Visual Direction because it was
Gotcha.
a very pretty game.
And not Best Direction.
You can't knock Last of Us 2 for anything on a technical level, really.
But you can knock it for crunch.
You can knock it for a lot of other shit, that's for sure. But technically, it is
Yes,
impressive.
absolutely.
And that goes back to that being intellectually honest and being able to praise one thing and also criticize at the same time.
Yep. And I also have it nominated for Game of the Year because we got to be fair. We got to give it a shot right alongside everyone else. We can't, anyone that says that it won legitimately, it can't, this won't stand to counter that argument if it's not up for the award. So it's up there to give it a fair shot.
Yep.
But it is up against Ghost of Tsushima, Hades, Half-Life Alyx, Cyberpunk, Animal Crossing New Horizons, Ori and the Will of the Wisps, and Doom Eternal.
Ooh.
Ghost of Tsushima. Ghost of Tsushima. Sorry,
Hey, Angelus, don't vote yet.
So yeah, these are just some of the stuff we're gonna have up.
Yep.
Yeah, there's World of Warcraft Shadowlands is also under Best Visual Direction because that game is beautiful. It is gorgeous.
It is.
Absolutely.
Stunning.
Well, it sounds like we've got our categories pretty well laid out. I'm very excited for this. I think we could really turn this into something. So
That's cool, man.
I want to do this yearly.
Yeah.
I want to do it yearly. The people should have a voice.
Let's make it a big deal, though. Let's go all out. Let's dress up. Let's just go crazy with it, man.
Dress
Yeah,
up.
treat like the we all
put
put
on-
up in a tuxedo like the Oscars, and
I will put on
I can
pants.
wear a suit.
I really just want to see Andrew in a tux, but whatever.
Pull out the
I
envelope.
thought you meant wear a costume.
I don't have a tux, but I do have a nice dress shirt and suit.
Envelopes.
Let's
Andrew's
invite
right.
Cutie Pie. Let's
I want
invite
Andrew and Mary to plug the envelope for
Let's
Game
do
of the
it.
Year.
I'm cool with Mary handing me the envelope if she's wearing nice
There you go.
Yeah, let's do
There
that.
you go.
Andrew, I'm with you there.
Just so everybody knows, she's gonna be off screen.
Are we gonna have like PSAs in there too, like for like the Latinx gaming?
No.
Like
No, we're gonna have PSAs that say, "F your feelings. We like good content."
Absolutely.
So
Yes, memes. Yes, he is.
I'm gonna cut a video intro. I'm gonna go hard on this. I'm going real big.
All right,
Yeah,
you're gonna
let's
show us all 5 inches. We're excited.
Can you use one of those like long, skinny microphones like Bob Barker did back in the day? Like,
I guess he only had the Cyberpunk slider as well.
I actually have a slider on my microphone. Check it out.
Oh, look at that! Ooh. Let me guess.
Thin and floppy.
Still longer than Cyberpunk.
You said you wanted a thin little microphone, so I could do that.
Hey guys, we need celebrities though. I don't know.
That's what I said. Let's invite PewDiePie and Dr. Disrespect.
Well, plus we got Andrew. Andrew's here. We can invite Andrew. He's a celebrity.
I was gonna say, maybe give Vin Diesel or Keanu Reeves or somebody to, or Brie Larson.
Yeah, somebody small.
I'm honestly
relatively unknown.
Honestly, that's my plan. Go for broke. Go all out 100%. Yep. I'm gonna go hard, and we're gonna do a freaking awesome Christmas awards show.
Yep.
Or an awards show on Christmas. It's not an awards show about Christmas.
Can we get Brie Larson to do one of the awards, maybe?
What?
Huh? I said, can we get Brie Larson to announce one of the awards?
Oh no!
Yeah,
please.
we'll get Fat Steven. He does a great Brie Larson impression.
It's gonna make me feel ill.
It's not even the biggest one.
He changes his avatar
We
to
can
a
get
Walking
Ryan
Wood.
Johnson.
Oh God!
Bob Iger, man, he'll show up.
We get Ryan Johnson. I know somebody that does a pretty good voice for him.
Yeah, no.
Let's try. So here's the thing. I don't want to bash. I don't want to be negative during the show. We can criticize intelligently, but we can make jokes. But let's try not to bash people. And let's try to keep it simple and be real with it. Like we're
no fun, Kai. Is that what you're saying? No fun.
Our perspectives on.
I was gonna say to Angelus, you would have to get a whole group of people to keep me from just running up on stage and beating his ass. That's what I'm saying.
Kai is basically saying there's no fun. No fun.
No.
So it can't be like the Source Awards.
Like that right there, the statement, for example, that McAnee just made. Like, not during this show next week. Like now, fine, but. Let's put our best foot forward. So we can be entertaining as hell without trash talking people.
So it can't be like the Source Awards where it just ends in like a gunfight or something like that.
I could throw a chair if you want. That always starts a riot.
So are we? We're allowed to. So you said we're not allowed to talk crap about individuals. What about games and like?
Oh yeah. We can talk. We can talk about games, but let's try and not be like. Oh, that's what happens when your game's a piece of trash. Let's come more from the perspective of, when you your fans, instead of attacking them, they treat you right, like we see here with yada yada yada. I'm saying, just focus on the positive, on love. Focus on love.
Yeah.
Kai, you're getting me down.
We need to have like whenever a game whips.
Whenever a game,
are we gonna have like people do like award speeches for the games that win? Are we gonna have to like represent like a certain company or something like that for if we do like an award?
We can do
speech?
that. We can do that if you guys want to do that. I could reach out to people and see what happens.
I'm just saying, if Cyberpunk wins an award, we need somebody to be Keanu Reeves.
Let's reach out to Keanu Reeves. Let's tweet at Keanu Reeves. Yeah, we're doing a player's choice thing. You want to come by?
Runner, shut up. No one's listening to you, Runner. You aren't even here, so shush.
Isn't it nice?
Wear a suit,
automatic
pocket square, and everything. And
yeah. You guys are mean to Runner.
I mean, do you see what he said in the chat? He says Ords doesn't get an invite then.
That's not very nice.
You guys need to be nice to Runner. Be nice to Runner.
Hey, personally, Culture, I have been nice to Runner. But when he says things like that, he opens himself up, okay?
It's true.
Yeah.
Talk shit, get hit.
Oh, you guys.
That's the rules on the streets.
He knows I love
nice
it. He knows I
Runner.
love it. I had a good conversation with Runner, just
Oh,
him and
sorry,
I.
Bob Ward.
Like over the weekend, this last weekend, Runner and I like Runner. He knows I love him to death.
No,
Yeah,
hopefully not all the way to death, but yeah.
Well,
I
not quite.
plan,
Yeah.
I
plan
love
on
him
putting
so
all
much
the-
that Christmas I'm gonna beat Ghost of Tsushima just for him
There you
for
go.
Christmas. That's my gift to Runner.
The more, you know what Runner doesn't understand, the more he harasses you to finish the game, the less motivated you are to actually finish it.
Ghost of Tsushima,
Just
Yeah.
finish it.
Runner,
Yep.
Ghost Runner.
He just
Yeah,
sucks the inspiration.
Runner's on there.
Yeah.
Runner, when during your time on the show, if you interrupt anybody, that's the end.
I'm throwing the chair.
It is on his
All right,
channel
well, thanks,
too.
Runner. Thanks for being here. It was a lot of fun.
Wait a minute. It's supposed to be on my channel this coming week.
On Christmas?
Yeah.
Christmas
Check the
Eve.
schedule. No,
It isn't?
it's on. It was on your channel last week. It's on
Was it?
Angel's channel this week, and it's on my channel next week.
Oh, all right. Well, then I guess
Screw
I
you
can't
guys, it's all
protect.
my channel.
I guess I can't protect Runner. Then it's kind of
Ah! You hear that, Runner? You're going down.
Yeah, so I plan on putting all this on a webpage so everyone can see everything, and so it's more easy. It's easier to link the one thing with all the links to the Twitter or to the wherever that I put the polls, than to linking a bunch of polls individually. Although that's going to be an option too. But yeah, I'm going to try to make this as easy as possible for all of us to put it out there.
Okay.
Sorry to bring things back to the
Awesome.
subject or topic. Yeah.
No,
Yeah, we can wrap if you want now.
I think
ending on that
You're
note.
so sweet, Kai. You just
yeah, I
want
think it's
everyone to
about
love each other.
I think it's about that time to where we wrap things up. I want to thank
right,
the
hit me with the
chat for
rhymes,
being
then, Angelus.
here.
We're gonna wrap it up. Hit me with the rhymes, bro. Let's go.
Oh, come on, man. Dude, I'm not
Rhymes?
Dimash or the president. Come
Yeah,
on,
you
man.
said we're gonna wrap this
Goddamn.
up.
All right, so somebody start the bass in the back.
It is Christmas.
All right,
It
let me
is
do
Christmas.
this.
You know, you wrap things during Christmas. So
I
Oh my
got
gosh.
Christmas
Anyway.
raps all the time,
Somebody
bro.
pull the plug on this show. I need to go take a nap.
We love you, Culture.
I just want to thank the chat. The Memes of Destruction, Apollo, Fat Steven, Runner, Jack of All Casuals. I believe Teresa Martin was here at one point.
My music.
I did see her as well.
Soul
Parrot
Assassin, Parrot Head, Senate, the festive
Senate.
hentai supplier.
That's right.
Jeez.
Yeah.
Will there be a
It-
hentai awards? I'm asking Senate.
I'm sure there will be. And Fat Steven Seagal, as always, you are a welcome addition to our gaming
Mhm.
streams.
Absolutely.
So,
Yes. So
Runner is underage.
Culture,
you can't
since
say it.
you're on your way out or want to
yeah,
get the hell out of here, go ahead
Yeah.
and plug your.
that didn't sound good. That sounded like they're going to put me in a box and bury me. But whatever, dude. Anyway, I hope everybody's having a great day. I hope everybody
I am a
enjoyed our
vampire.
gaming stream. I hope everybody enjoyed our gaming stream conversation, and I'm looking forward to the gaming awards. Apparently over on Kai's channel, so whatever. But anyway, thank you all so very much for being here. We couldn't do it without you, Andrew. Thank you for being our special guest, and I hope you will consider coming back and maybe being a part of these gaming awards. I think that would be great. And
I absolutely love to. That sounds fantastic.
yeah. And on that note, everybody have a great night. Love you.
Later, buddy.
Much love, Culture.
Peace out, man.
Later.
Take care, Culture.
And there we go.
Only Ords' face there for a second.
Oh,
What's
yeah.
Awards.
Plug your shit.
Oh, I
Look
gotta
it.
do that. Oh,
Jackie Awards.
What's going on, everybody? I am Ords on the Ords Bored channel over at the Boardroom on YouTube. That's youtube.com/Ords Bored, where you can find me doing pop culture commentary during the week and gaming streams on the weekend. Tomorrow night at 9 p.m. Central Standard Time, you can find me, Kai, hopefully Angelus, if he's not busy trying to beat Cyberpunk or something. You can find us on my channel doing Among Us. It is the Christmas edition. Santa Claus, reindeer, the whole bit. It's going to be great. So come check that out. We also, I don't know what we're going to do this Sunday. I don't know. We might take it. I'm getting a new PC this weekend, so we're going to see how that works out. We may or may not do Sunday Night Hangs and video games. But I would like to, I don't know what we're going to do. It's going to be crazy, but just tune in. I think I am going to do a stream later tonight talking about the future of the channel, what's going on with that. Finally hit 1,000 subscribers. Thanks to all of you out there. Let's see what else. Oh, finally monetized, which is awesome. So Saturday, thank you. Saturday at 6 p.m. Central Standard Time. I'm going to start a long stream. We're going to do a long celebration stream. People are going to be coming in and out. We're going to be celebrating the 1,000K. We're going to be celebrating the monetization. It's going to be big. These guys are all going to be here, man. So if you guys are looking for a good time on Saturday, make sure you show up to the 1K monetization celebration stream on my channel. It's going to be lit, and I cannot wait to get this PC that I've got coming in. So look forward to it, guys. Thank you.
It's back to me. Hey. All right, I already plugged my book. So in case you forgot, I'm going to do it again. Check out Space Crime Domino, available on Amazon. I also do a trivia game show here on YouTube every Sunday at 1 p.m. Pacific. 3 categories, 3 players, not 3 hours. Nope, shorter. It's like an hour and a half, 2 hours. It's about 2 hours, actually. It's about, I was going to say 2 hours. But yeah, it's a load of fun, total escapism. We've got Robot Santa. We've got regular Santa. We've got Jesus. Jesus is on the show for the Christmas edition, ladies and gentlemen.
Can I ask you a question? Does Jesus fight Robot Santa?
I do have that clip. I haven't used it yet. Oh, wait, no. Robot Santa. I'm sorry. I thought you meant regular Santa.
No, Robot Santa.
No. They don't have. I don't have a clip for that. But you can use him to fight off Robot Santa.
Nice.
So,
done.
Yeah. And the clip of it is from South Park. So,
nice.
Good one. But yeah, check out my show this Sunday. And now Makini, the person who streams at the same time.
It's Makini, not Makini, not Makini, Makini. Sorry.
Go ahead and plug your stuff there, buddy.
Yes, sir. Good evening, good afternoon, good evening. Thank you all for stopping by. This is Makini90. I am the Inquisitor, the artist of Rogue Entertainment, one of the mods of Rogue Entertainment. You can find me on YouTube, where I do my weekly draw streams every Wednesday and Sunday at 12:30. We are continuing our winter art stream with Mads Mama Bear, Bruce Lombardo, M. Dashley, and hopefully our guest Joyce Gauss, who comes back and do some water painting with us. So hope you guys can stop by and watch, join us. I may be doing a test stream either today or tomorrow, because I got another because I want to test my camera setup. I got a new tripod coming in, so just check out for that. And I'm happy to be here. Hope to be there hanging with Ords on tomorrow's stream, or even on Saturday's stream. And I hope to be streaming with Andrew Caffeinated Wolfe in the future, especially if we get to talk about racing games and such. So
hell yeah.
Game on.
I'll save the best for last.
I don't know about all that, but I am Caffeinated Wolfe. I'm the king of caffeine, Monica the Mocha, ruler of the roast, and I am the alpha of the Wolf Pack over on Twitch. It's where you can find me primarily doing all sorts of game streams. You can also find me here on YouTube at the same thing, Caffeinated Wolfe with the E at the end. I'm also over on geeksandgamers.com. I am one of the writers. I'm one of the editors. I'm also the lead admin running the blogs and the forums. So if you have any problems over there whatsoever, please don't hesitate. Call your mom. I don't really fucking care. It's not my problem.
I'm going to blow your inbox up now, just full of ridiculous questions.
I will mute you.
Andrew, like, for real, I love your posters in the background.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah.
I appreciate that.
Yo, Mr.
I had those made
That
custom.
game.
You're all right,
I
Mr. Wolf.
freaking love that game. I freaking love that game.
You're all right, Mr. Wolf.
Thank you.
You're all right yourself, Ords. You're
We'll
all
catch you
right
next
yourself.
week.